The city was alive that night, glowing with its usual arrogance, a symphony of laughter, music, and clinking glasses rising from the penthouses and elite clubs that crowned Manhattan. Beneath the golden chandeliers of one of the most exclusive lounges, Martin Cole sat in his reserved corner, glass of whiskey in hand, his friends circling him like moths to a flame. Martin was 35, sharp-jawed, impeccably dressed, with the kind of swagger that came from knowing he could buy almost anything in the world. He wasn't born into money. No, his was the story every magazine adored. The boy who came from nothing, who clawed his way up Wall Street, who built empires from risks others feared. But with wealth came a sharper hunger, not just for success, but for thrills. He was addicted to proving people wrong, addicted to showing he could get anything, or anyone, he wanted. That night, his friends were restless. They were wealthy in their own right, though most by inheritance, their lives handed to them wrapped in silk. They envied Martin's story, but they despised his confidence. And so, fueled by alcohol and envy, one of them leaned forward, his tie loosened and his smirk sharp. "You think you can get any woman you want, Cole. Any model, any heiress, any trophy. But that's too easy. You don't chase challenges anymore." Martin raised a brow, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. "Challenges. I own half the block you live on." "What do you call that?" The group laughed, but the man pressed on. "I mean with women. Money makes everything too simple. If you're really as irresistible as you think, then prove it. Go for someone no one else would dare. Someone society wouldn't even notice." The words hung in the air, dangerous, baiting. Martin leaned back, amused but intrigued. "And who exactly do you have in mind?" The friend pointed across the room. She was there, almost hidden in the shadows, clearing glasses from a corner table where a rowdy group of executives had just left. Her clothes were plain, an ill-fitting black skirt and white shirt that had lost its crispness after long hours of work. Her hair was tied up in a messy bun, strands falling out as sweat clung to her forehead. She was heavy-set, her body the kind magazines ignored and society often judged. She moved quickly, efficiently, but there was no denying the wariness in her steps. "Her," the friend sneered. "The waitress. Marry her." The table burst into cruel laughter, the sound sharp as knives. To them, it was absurd. Martin Cole, the golden bachelor of New York, with a woman like that. It was a joke, a humiliation wrapped in a dare. But Martin didn't laugh. He watched her, really watched her, as she stacked glasses with a quiet focus, her eyes downcast yet burning with something he couldn't name. They weren't the eyes of someone broken. They were eyes that had seen storms and refused to surrender. Something about them tugged at him, though he would never admit it then. He smirked, the kind of smirk that always preceded reckless decisions. "You want proof? Watch me." The friends roared with approval, their laughter echoing, their voices dripping with mockery. The bet was set. Martin Cole, the man who could conquer anything, would marry the woman no one else even noticed. The following days, Martin set his plan in motion. He was not a man who failed once he decided on something. He learned her name, Clara Evans. She was 28, working double shifts to cover rent in a cramped apartment in Queens. No family nearby, no glittering circle of friends, just quiet solitude and endless bills. Life had not been kind to her, but she carried herself with a dignity that caught Martin off guard. The first time he spoke to her, it was under the pretense of ordering a drink. She approached his table with the usual detached politeness, pen in hand, ready to jot down his choice. "Whiskey neat," he said, but instead of looking at his drink, he looked at her. "And your name?" Clara blinked, caught off guard. Most customers barely acknowledged her beyond a grunt. "Clara," she replied cautiously, her voice soft but firm. He smiled. "Pretty name, matches you." She frowned, unsure whether he was mocking her. Years of cruel comments about her weight had made her wary of compliments. "Right," she muttered, scribbling quickly and walking away. But Martin wasn't deterred. He returned the next night, and the next. Each time, he found a way to engage her. At first, she resisted, answering his questions with clipped words, keeping her guard high. But he was relentless, weaving charm into every word, slipping past her defenses with practiced ease. He brought her small gifts. Nothing ostentatious, just flowers from the corner shop, books he claimed he thought she'd like. He listened when she spoke, asked about her day, her dreams, her art. Because Clara, when she finally opened up, revealed that she once loved painting. She had given it up when survival took precedence over passion, but her eyes lit up when she spoke of colors, of canvases, of the way art could capture feelings words never could. Martin found himself fascinated, though he told himself it was all part of the game. He had to win the bet. That was the goal. And yet, each time Clara smiled, something inside him shifted. Weeks turned into months. Against her own judgment, Clara began to soften. She had never known a man like Martin, attentive, persistent, making her feel seen when the world had always treated her as invisible. She questioned his intentions, of course. Why her? Why now? But when he looked into her eyes and told her she mattered, her heart wanted to believe. Then came the proposal. Lavish, dramatic, a rooftop dinner beneath the city lights. Clara was stunned, her breath stolen not by the extravagance but by the idea that someone like him wanted her forever. Her heart screamed caution, but her soul, starved for love, whispered yes. And so, to the shock of the city, Martin Cole married Clara Evans. The newspapers had a field day. Headlines blared "Billionaire weds waitress." The tabloids dissected her body, her clothes, her past. Socialites gossiped in hushed tones, snickering over cocktails about how long it would last. Martin's friends congratulated him, toasting the successful completion of the cruelest joke. But Clara believed it was love. She moved into his penthouse, exchanged her old uniforms for new dresses, stepped into a world she had never imagined. And every night, she looked at Martin with adoration, blind to the shadows lurking in his silence. Martin thought he had won. He thought it was just a game. But what he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that this so-called bet would unravel everything he thought he understood about life, about love, and about himself. Because Clara was not a punchline. She was the storm he never saw coming.